Hey, good morning, folks. Let's see if the internet's working today, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Check my signal, see if we're coming through, and then we'll get to work here for about an hour and a half or so this morning. Checking my channel, see if we are up, and channel. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Channel, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
That's really quiet. I don't know what happened. I had this really great volume going.
That's really
quiet. I don't know what happened. I had this really great volume going.
That's
Really quiet. I don't know what happened. I had this really great volume going. Really quiet. I don't know what happened. I had this really great volume going. Really quiet. I don't know what happened. I had this really great volume going. Really quiet. I don't hear to see that. I had this really great volume going. Really quiet. I don't
And okay, yeah, we'll let that sit. It's not perfect. I might have maybe it's an issue with my speakers. I don't know. Seems weird. But that's not what you didn't come here to listen to me check my volume. You want to watch me do some painting. So let's go ahead and grab the link here, do some really fast social media posts, and then we'll get started here today. So my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And I create content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I publish on the DMsGuild. We're currently using the 2024 revised rules that came out last year, and we're making an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting. It's called Crystals of Mabar. As you can see the book cover here on screen. It's for characters level 7 and 8 fighting necromancers, demons, and undead in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Corvair. So that's it for my social media postings. We're up and at 'em. Let me fix my screen here real quick. And if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe. Hey, new subscribers, thanks a lot, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews, so check them out. If you think they're cool and you play D&D, consider picking them up to support more shenanigans in the future. And here's the full playlist of all 515 episodes to date. Let me grab this, drop this down out of the way, and move the book covers. Okay, great. So here's the painting that we're working on. It's of Atur Academy, the premier necromancer school of magic on the continent of Corvair. It's obviously a rough sketch. We're in progress of building this thing out. So we have our text up here. Here's the frame that we're going to end up using when we actually finish the piece. Roughly the frame that's going to have the text here, right? And then the format that we're using is 16 by 9. It's actually 17 inches wide, 10 inches tall. But when it doesn't automatically snap to zoom here in Photoshop, but it's essentially, there you go. Here you go. It's super easy to see. It's so in the landscape format, it works on phones, tablets, desktops, and each individual column is also 16 by 9 format. So once this is a PDF for people to grab online, you'll be able to look at each individual one column at a time as well. So we're gonna get rid of the masking layer here, disable. And we were futzing around with the sky yesterday while I was rambling about stuff, and I don't think I like where the sky is at right now. Oh, I need to get rid of that text. Let me move that out of the way so we can come up to works and get our references back on screen. And this is where we were before I started playing around with ideas here, and I don't like how any of that turned out, but I also don't like how the sky is sitting right now. So I do know I want to mess around with more of it. I just don't like anything that ended up happening with that yesterday. So I'm going to get rid of that and replace it. Let's see. I think I like that there. So let's do some of this. See if we can put something into place that we like right now. Being nitpicky, but it's clouds. You can afford to be a little nitpicky with clouds. It's not that big of an issue. So using our cloud brush tool, we have a bunch of tools that we have on my Patreon, link down below. These are all the tools that I use when I'm doing these landscape paintings. And you can grab up that brush set as well. It's always evolving. That's just where it's at right now, but it'll continue to evolve and grow. I won't be updating the free file, the ABR file that I have on my Patreon. That's just what we had at the moment, and so that's what I gave you, that I used for the most recent painting I did. But as we continue evolving, you'll see me making new brushes and implementing them, how the strategies and tactics and techniques I use to implement them. I think I want to fade this in a little bit more like this. You know what, I think I just want to do a general wash across like this to dim that down, and then put a new layer of more a new layer of clouds to overlay this, so that it has a little bit more depth and has a little bit more of the gloom that I want to have. It's just not gloomy enough. That's my problem. That's what I'm not liking about it. I want more gloom. More gloom, more gloom, more gloom. So we're just working the color into the canvas as an overlay, as a kind of a wash. I'm really tired today, so I'm sorry if my energy's weird. And but we played some Shadow Dark on Wally DM's channel last night. It's super fun. I always love playing Shadow Dark. It's super easy. It's basically just a 5e version of Beckme, essentially. I'm a big fan of Beckme. I love designing for 5e. I like playing. There's a lot of different games I like to play, but when I'm actually doing game design and I'm running games, it's typically going to be in the 5e game engine. Wash across. This is almost done. This button do? What happens if we just push some things back a bit? This seems to be about where we're supposed to be at. I like that. How do we bring this back in? What happens if we... Okay, we can afford to get rid of that, so let's instead bring in something like this. We're at a 70% strength. I think we can bring that down to more like 50-40%. That should be able to get us 60%. No, 70%. Looks like nope. Minute, 60. There. So finish up the sky, work on the mountains, work on the trees that are in front of the dome, work on the mist, and then we'll be able to then resolve the details on the dome based on the details of the foreground, putting basically a cap on how much detail we can put into the dome. So I think building out the organic components of the composition will make it flow a lot more smoothly, and will help set us up for success when we start doing the architecture of the dome itself. But I'm liking how this piece is sitting. Very much like off screen, we're working on integrating the into the document, and actually right now I'm messing around with the cemetery map that we have, and I wanted to actually all of the manifest zone. I wanted to introduce more stronger visual language for the obscuring fog that permeates the region, and so I'm having to do some revisions on the manifest zone maps that we have been producing. I think we made most of them like around episode, I want to say episode like 180 to 310. We built out all the massive maps that go along with this adventure. It's basically environments for characters to run around and fight undead inside of. Yeah, super fun. But I've been making some changes to the maps there that we have been adding into the pages. And once all the maps are in place, we'll have the little corner spots that are left open and gaps between text and stuff that we'll have an opportunity to assess, like little vignette illustrations or little sketches of stuff that we want to have up in those corners to add a little bit more character to the story. And but coming up soon, I think once we finish this painting, we're gonna take a tangent and resolve this frame that we have here. Build that out so it's the final like the actual official frame for the adventure. Right now, it's just been using as a placeholder for us to have a sense of grounding of what's going around the page. But I want to build that out and properly so that we can, like, if I had like a little sketch, like if we had a little pocket here of blank text at the bottom of the column, that doesn't seem reasonable for us to put a sketch in. I want to put some sort of texture or like background image that can extend from the frame into the page. I like doing little stuff like that. So I want to build out these frames to see what kind of opportunities we have to do that sort of stuff as we go through and start. Like, should there be an illustration in this corner, or should it just be some texture and just some visual, just some visual noise to break up the monotony of the text? And if there's a strong argument for a particular type of illustration, then we'll drop an illustration in there. If it's like this, nothing seems to be jumping out as strengthening the page, then we'll go for some sort of a texture pattern. Not sure, some little filigree expansion. It's not looking horrible. Yeah, I don't need that. Let's get rid of that, and then we're gonna add in another layer. Let's see. Let's do. No, let's go with a layer color. Something like that. So usually when you're doing a skyline and you've got a sunset that's high, the sun is high and it's coming down, it's going to put highlights on the top and then shadows on the bottom. When you're looking at twilight or dusk, the sun's on the horizon, so any light's going to be coming underneath the clouds as underlighting, and the top is going to be more shadowed. And so I think underlighting will make a better mood for this piece, and I wasn't implementing that last time, so I think I want to add in underlit highlights, something like this. We'll see where this takes us. See if we like it or not. So we're just going to use little circles here to fluff out the undercarriage here of these clouds. I want to make sure that it's downward oriented. So I don't think I actually like where that's at. I'm gonna get rid of that. I think this underlighting needs to be in the depth of where the dark in the bottom of the shadow is to effectively read as underlighting. So let's do it here like that. tried to do some streaming last night, but the internet wasn't working. So I just spent a little bit of time offline. We were finishing the Bastion facilities for Strixhaven, and then we updated the Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster with the martial power system that we've been developing. We're placing them. We're going to test. We're going to the way that half casters work. The Artificer, the Ranger, the Paladin. They're half casters, and then they get access to this whole other this other rack of powers that scale at the half casting as well, and then we have Arcane Tricksters and Eldritch Knights as subclasses that also gain access to these martial powers at half casting progression. So it's like, what's the real difference between implementing a magic system where all the martials are half casters that have access to one type of magic, and then like the EKAT, like what's so different about EKAT from Paladin and Ranger and Artificer at this point? I'm having a hard time locking down, like, why would in this sort of a mana system, why would those subclasses be limited to 4th level spells at weird levels when they're just demonstratively not more powerful than the half casters? So we're going to go with a subclass progression of giving ATEK spells up to 5th level at 17th and 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. It feels like that's going to work. So we're going to test it, see if somebody picks it up, test it a little bit, and there's some assessment going on there. So we're going to continue with the color mana spell point variant rule options for characters. We're going to expand on that at lunch today. We do lunch on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then we do when our internet works. We have a stream, a design stream that we run on Mondays and Thursday nights, and so where we're at with development right now is we've finished out the Ravnica background of the Ravnica renown system for guilds, the credits for Strixhaven colleges. Now we're going to go in and finish up Theros Piety using the same sort of structure. Hey, good morning. Hi, Hayden. This view is giving me Naruto vibes. Hey, right on. I can take that as a compliment. Thank you. How you doing this morning? Basically, we use Bob Ross techniques in Photoshop to develop landscapes. So it's all a rough sketch right now, but we're going to just continue working the clouds into the skyline, and I'm gonna have a break here. I normally don't do underlighting like this. Normally it's more, top down lighting, but I wanted to go with this I just wanted to go with this low slung feeling to the whole piece. It helps add height and presence to the dome. I mean, the dome's still a rough sketch, obviously. It's chalk, but if I can get the skyline, I wanted to put the dome frame in. I wanted to get the components in place so I can see how they're sitting compositionally. So as I work the environment and the lighting around them, I can help try to increase the dramatic impact of the different components, the different elements of the piece. So, cheers. We'll finish this piece. We've been basically rolling through, trying to get the bigger illustrations and the bigger page gaps on this piece. Like we have dropping this back into place. This is the actual frame that we're going to have for the painting. So I'm dramatically upscaling what we actually need, so I can resize it down and maintain the quality of resolution and resize the composition to fit inside the actual space. That's not uncommon to outscale the actual frame available. So trying to take the largest gaps in the pages of the adventure and fill those with whatever illustration belongs there, get those resolved. So as we keep going through the piece, we're working with smaller and smaller and smaller areas. So it gets easier and easier and easier for us to complete the piece. As the project goes on, you get naturally emotionally and physically fatigued with the project. So generally, you want to work with the most difficult compositions first to get those out of the way, so it becomes, like I said, easier for you to keep moving through the piece, through the project. As your endurance wanes, so does the burden on you to perform. So, if everything runs smoothly, we should just about be fucking sick and tired of working on this piece by the time we get to the end of it. and then I'll be looking forward to moving on to a new project and developing something else, and then getting that to a place where its page layouts are done, and we'll come back in and do all the illustrations for that. So if you check my playlist, you'll see the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement has its own playlist that basically went through a lot of like developing the mechanics of the Spelljammer system that we implemented, as well as then doing some page layouts. And when I got back from our editor, Adam Hancock, then we went into actually doing all the illustrations and stuff for my screen for you guys as well. So that's kind of the process of the channel, is to build a role-playing game and then then illustrate it and then publish it and then move on to the next piece. So a lot of people don't know how much stuff goes into making a role-playing game supplement, like a PDF or something on DriveThruRPG or DMsGuild. And so I want to walk through that process with all the things that we build. I walk through that process step by step for people to see it. And then I get to talk about the thing that we're building and philosophize and have ideas about stuff and share things and listen to people's stories and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. But I'm super tired, so I'm not flowing smooth. I had a shitty night's sleep last night. Yesterday was working against me, apparently. Sometimes, sometimes that's the wheel. Sometimes you're at the top of it, sometimes you're at the bottom. But as long as you keep rolling, you're gonna do okay.
I kind of like that.
It's not exactly, I think, what I was hoping for, but when I have this because the way that the light is angled, the mountains, it's coming from down around here and upward. So let's see. I've got some volume influence on those clouds. There's a topography that I can potentially lean further into. So let's smooth that out, leave that layer like it is. Got these little taggy bits here that don't make a ton of sense. this ended up working out for us. That's fine. This feels experimental. I don't, like I said, I don't do a lot of underlighting on clouds, so it's kind of wonky to get the angle right, to get the feel correct. I've done horizons where the sun is towards the camera. But rarely when the sun setting is to our back. And this is at east. We're facing east on the compass, so the sun setting, it would decidedly be to our back. Maybe this underlighting that we have going on here, maybe that's confusing the issue. I kind of like this fade in the background here, but it kind of implies a light source in the horizon on the other side of the mountains, and I can't justify where that lighting is coming from. However, in fantasy illustrations, there's often light coming from all sorts of crazy places, just to create mood and effect. So maybe I don't need to be so militant about lighting. And just go for the mood. Oh, I kind of like how that's turning out. Blend in. No, I'm not liking that. What is going on? Maybe I just need to leave it subtle. I think I'm just gonna delete those to burn my bridges. No regrets. What if we just simplify? I'm probably about done messing around with the sky. We've tried a couple different ideas, and this base here is probably as good as it's supposed to be. So I think I'll just take the hint. Let it sit. How are we doing on time? 7 o'clock? Okay, we're doing good. That feels good. I like here. Feels good. Let's blend that out. Blend to win. Can I get away with some sort of keep trying to do something like this and it keeps failing on me, but I feel like the composition wants some sort of shock of clouds in here to break up that block. So we're gonna give this a go, and if it doesn't work out, we'll erase it again. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe we work with this up like this, and we push it down so it fades out. Push in here to fade, and we bring here to pull. This might work. This might work. The strato clouds, that feels pretty good. I think this is a good decision. So good. Let's just work this in. Yeah, oh God, yeah, that feels really good now. There we go. Just had to fight it, give up a little bit, let it take over. Keep that wispiness going through here. I think that's actually important now, the strata. Actually take that a few steps back. Drop the strength of the smudge brush down so we can blend, do some strong blending in at the base here. Since it's a separate layer, I can push it around a little bit, find where I like it to sit the most. I actually want to kind of give this a tilt. feels good. We're gonna blend that in. How's everyone doing this morning? Just making happy trees, making happy clouds. Actually, I think the clouds are looking pretty good. Let's just zoom in a little bit for some detail. Let's fluff these out so they do what clouds are supposed to do. I'm liking this tilt. That feels good. Up our strength on our smudge brush. About 60% right now to get some tuft going up into the clouds here to give them that little bit of that fluffiness. There we go. Okay, now I'm starting to see it. Back down a little bit, or our strength down to make it a little more fluffy. Hey, timely timer. Sweep that forward. Now it's starting to look like the underlighting of like this ridge line here is the top of the cloud's dark, and then the bottom. Let's drop in some more shadow here. Just to close that up a little bit. Okay, good. Now we're finally getting to where I wanted to be with this. I knew what I like in painting. You're expressing things is almost like a conversation, and it's like I knew what I wanted to say, but I just couldn't figure out how to say it. And in this case, I wanted to have underlighting on a cloud, but I wasn't really figuring it out. So now I think we're getting to a place where I like how this looks. Doesn't matter how many paintings you do. You're going to keep running into challenges, and the more paintings you do, the more projects you work on, the more references you take in, the more you expand your internal visual library, the more you're going to be able. The easier it is for you to find solutions, the less frustrating it's going to be. Every time you have a success in illustrating something or finding an aesthetically pleasing way to express a visual idea, it helps reinforce that you'll find a solution. Winners win, as they say, and every time that you complete a piece, you're teaching yourself to be able to move through a piece, to be able to solve the problem of this thing doesn't exist. How do I depict it? How do I bring visual language to it? And that's basically what we do as illustrators. Every time you are successful with a piece, you are reinforcing that this is something I can do. Give me time and I will succeed. Because sometimes you won't know how you're going to succeed. Just know that you got to keep pushing pixels because you got to do the piece, right? The piece got to get done. And if you're the one that's doing the piece, it's on you. So giving up is not a solution because it still needs to exist. So are you going to make it exist or aren't you?
This might not be in the illustration. I don't know if the clipping is going to allow for it, but I feel compelled to work in this space right now, so that's what I'm going to work. My job is to get out of my way and let my hands go. Let them do what they want to do so that I can create the effect that I want. Clouds are about where I want them to be for now. That feels a lot better. Actually, you know what? Let's tear that free. Drop it down, get it out of the way. Okay. There. Normally, I'm not so much of a perfectionist. I just kind of like let it drop in, do whatever it wants to do, and then I move on. But for some reason, I really wanted to pick at the lighting and placement for these things. That's really cool. I like that. Blend, blend, blend. Yeah, that's it for now. Cool. Okay, go back to the trees, dome, mountains. Got some shadow going on in there. Got some highlights that we have going down here. Let's switch to our mountain pick brush. Let's push that up to 100% with the mountain pick brush. Let's go to smudge 100%. Let's add this color in here. Also should be the pick. So we're going to use the eraser to tear out chunks of the stone that's highlighted, and then we're going to use our smudge brush to create basically noise and uneven rock. Like that. Break that up like that. same angles of the mountain here with the brush to be able to create sensible, natural, organic shapes that will fill in and create these little gaps and ridges, little pieces. Let's get the trees out of the way for now. So this cool craggy effect that's going on here that feels really good. There we go. Let's actually remove the dome too, just to get all the mountain clarified here. Looks good. So making these mountain crags is a matter of adding in the color and then erasing the color along the contours of the mountain. Let's actually build out the shape of this mountain a little bit. I think we can make that a little bit more interesting. Here, actually, let's switch to round tools so I don't have so much edge issue. That feels pretty good. Let's check the overall. Switch to yeah, that feels pretty good. I like that. Okay, cool. Back at it. R equals pick, eraser equals pick. just making texture, we're just making some roughness, and it takes a little bit of work, a little practice to be able to create the effects that you want, not over committing and not having too much expectations or predispositions of how you want it to look will end up helping it do what it wants to do to fit into the space naturally itself. You can pick at it from a different angle here using the contours again of the environment, the lines of the mountain. Here at the bottom of the mountain, I'll drop this down a little bit. Let's grab a blending brush, take it down to a low strength so we can sort of smudge away here at the bottom to get this neat little blending effect that we've got going on down here, right? I really like how these are turned out. Yeah, it always feels really good when you follow your hunch and it turns out being good. Blending again here at the base to help wash it out a little. I'm using a 60% eraser here to help add a little shadow and add texture and this texturing that we have going on here, remaining consistent at the base while using a mild eraser helps create that fade effect for us. So I can come through here, I can smudge and broaden this out here to extend the base, right? So I'm extending the base here, and then I can tap at it with smudge and it creates texture inside that base we just extended. So that's probably about as low as this mountain needs to get. I want to keep this one back here like super dark. But we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to pull at these bottom edges here. We're going to take our eraser, we're going to drop down the size of it a little bit to fit the mountain. And then we're going to break it up, and we're going to switch back to our mountain pick. 100% strength so we can push pixels. There we go. Add, push, and then erase. So let's create a little ridge effect in here and break it up. feel like I want to make a separate layer here. Paste. Take your time, my timer. I need to switch brushes real quick. I gotta get the base of this mountain to blend in a little bit more. Okay, cool. And now this is a separate layer from here. Are these just gaps? Oops. A little too high on the ridge. Nice. All right, back to the pick and 100% strength. Let's check our time. It's 7:35, so I got 20 minutes left. We're gonna pick at these mountains. Get them to an endpoint that we like. Again, using the lines of the formation. This is a lower crest, so I want to have less of a sharp peak for it. But it's got the same cragginess to it, so I want to have those sort of sweeping angled those sweeping lines going through here to create that same sort of language. So all these mountains rhyme, you know. Actually, let's drop that one for now. Go back to here. Let's keep working these mountains, and then we'll work on the lower the lower elevation. The thing we just made invisible. Do that one next. Nice. And there's obviously a ton of different ways that you could do this sort of technique. This is just the one that resonated with me the most. So I leaned into it, and I basically commit to using the same type of brush, same type of gesturing, same process to create the broken surface that becomes the rock. Just about got this to where I want it to be as well. There, now let's do the same thing over here. Let's just work across here. Oh, I like this one already. Nice. so good. I just love how this effect works, and then we'll do the blending at the bottom. I just want to get the crisp top edges basically resolved so that the silhouette can stand strong. Not 100% a fan of the rock here matching this backdrop scale. So I think I'm finally seeing the wisdom here of getting rid of that low end haze. So we're going to switch back to the sky here for a moment. Drop this down. Reintroduce the elements to make sure this all sits pretty good. Does this sit pretty good? Did that actually help us at all? Arguably not. Yeah, okay. Let's just leave that be. It was an experiment. It didn't work out. A-okay. So, bop, 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 bop. Back to the mountains. That's what we gotta do. We gotta experiment and poke at things a little bit, see how they sit. There we go. I'm so tired. I'm so brain dead right now. Like absolutely no information is flowing through me right now. It's just I probably shouldn't even be streaming. I'm so tired, but the work's got to get done. It doesn't care. Practicing weakness breeds more weakness. So just showing up, even if this isn't a banger of a session, and, you know, like I'm not imparting deep wisdom to anybody right now. Barely even sharing opinions. I'm just kind of muttering to myself about how I want my mountains to look, and that is not for the best content. So it is my apologies to dear audience that this is not a banger of an episode, but this is, you know, sometimes you just got to work through being tired, and I guess if I'm going to show everything, you're going to see me being fucking boring occasionally. So, like buttons for boredom, y'all. Like buttons for being bored with me. Cheers. Cragginess. I like those craggy lines. It just feels good. It's important that I keep in mind like how much texture And variety have I created in the initial mountain so that the other ones that I do is going to reflect the same amount of texture and grittiness to it. You can overwork one area, and then it ends up affecting the composition as it like everywhere else, because you're just sitting like mincing on one spot, overworking detail in an area. It kind of obligates the rest of the piece to match that level of detail in like spaces, you know. So you gotta be a little careful about how much detail you're laying into your composition, like being mindful of it. How much actual detail information and texture and interest can you create in a spot if it's supposed to be a background piece? Then you don't want to overcommit. Camera's been a little wonky. And then it just continues off screen. More and more mountain. Okay, cool. So let's switch to the smudgy brush and drop it down to a lower strength. Like that's too strong. I have like 30-something% here. I'm gonna push up from under the canvas. So we're gonna smudge along the contour of the mountain here. Just lathing up and down like this to just blend it in as we go. You can see that. Actually pushing up from the bottom of the mountain here to get that color blend going. As well, just extending it down using the contours of the angles of the mountain. And then this way. And then again this way. Just cross-hatching using the angles of the mountain peak to guide the lines as they slide down from the peak to the lowlands. And then we can brush back and forth just to blend it in to dissipate into the fog of the lowland. here, we push in, we angle down, again using the contours of the mountain, the angles of the peak to guide the lines as it slides down into the lowlands, blending in. Create this neat little effects in here. Just hug that out because that looks really cool. Blend. We blend across just to melt it in as shadow and fog lowland. And then we're going to come back through and we're going to carve through all of this, similar as we did in the peaks, but now with the lower faded, we'll just again has this low light cascade effect. This is one of many ways that you can do this technique, and this just happens to be the way that the technique is calling to me today to do it. So we'll do it different ways in the future, but today this is just the style that it wants to work in. So I'm going to oblige its request. Just work this into the canvas again, using the contours and the lines of the mountain peak to guide the angles that we smudge into to help extend those angles to retain the integrity of its shape. And blend across just to melt away at the base of it. Now that we've built that out, blend up, push up a little bit, blend it in a little bit more. Okay, so now that we have these lines, this dumping effect, we can go back through with the same techniques. Here's our eraser. Switch our smudge brush to be hard edge, 100%. Yep, I'm not talking. I'm just not talking today. Oh well. Hopefully you just watch me pushing pixels around and doing mountains. Hopefully that's entertaining. If anyone's got any questions, you are welcome to ask because my brain is just fucking empty today. I'll be on later on today. Hopefully I won't be so brain dead. I will be on later on today resolving the piety system for Odyssey of Theros using 2024 mechanics. Oh, how about that? You know, doing my outro, and my timer pops. That's really well timed. At least my sense of timing hasn't been affected. I'm just gonna drop into a little bit more bits here. I might work on this piece on the weekend a little bit, but I got a lot of stuff to do other than this. This is a kind of a fun piece that doesn't require me to think very much. Some of these pieces that I got to work on that I have been working on off screen require a lot of graphic design elements that require me to sit and stare at them, kind of like what I was doing today, but intentionally being quiet to pay attention to what's going on, as opposed to being quiet because I'm brain dead. This is so let's go ahead and just flush this out, make that look decent. I like how this is coming along overall. Nice. And it's 7:55. Typically, I'm back on stream doing design work on Fridays, like around 2:30 Seattle time. It's almost 8 o'clock here in Seattle time, so that'd be about 6.5 hours from now. I have about an hour to jump on and play around with some design ideas, but something's telling me that timing might be a little weird today, so I can't guarantee that's exactly when that's gonna happen. Yeah, this kind of wants to get filled in and redone. Let's cut you free. Nice, good decision to build a ridge out of this. Yeah. Nice. Okay, last few moments. Let's just have a little bit of fun here. Blend this up in here. Just blend that in. No complaint. It's coming along very nicely. I'm really, really happy with how this is proceeding. But this is where we're going to go ahead and cut off for now. When we come back and work on this, the next time I suspect the next time we're going to work on this is going to be Monday morning. I don't think I'm going to work on this over the weekend. So we'll just let it sit, and yeah, we'll come back Monday morning. Monday night we'll do. We'll either finish up Theros stuff on Monday night, or start getting into Strixhaven's Mage Tower mechanics, and that'll be probably Monday night. Monday through Friday in the morning we do artwork like this. Well, not like this. Usually more animated and interesting than this, but we do artwork, similar artwork in Monday through Friday in the morning, and game design on Monday night, Thursday night, Tuesday lunch, Friday lunch. Blend to win, buddy. There you go. And it's time for me to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut stream for now. I really like how these mountains are turned out. Just really, really fun. We'll add in the shadows next, so we'll have some shadowy backdrop here for this far back mountain. But yeah, this is all really, really happy with this. Okay, so that's it for now, guys. I will see you. I'll see you maybe later on today. Otherwise, hopefully on Monday. Thanks a lot for everyone that's checking out the stream. I really appreciate you. Cheers.